Assalamu alaikum, Sayyidi. Someone was asking yesterday, Sayyidi, can you please elaborate the Maqamul Fardani? Can you elaborate Maqamul Fardani?
Me, Maqamul Fardani. A'udhu billahi min shaitanir bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Elaborate on Maqamul Fardani. But what is necessary to know is that it represents the station of the moon and the reality of the Gawth and the one whom watches over this dunya. That the Awliya have a hierarchy from amongst the stars and then from the moon, and they take the reflection from the sun. That the sign on the horizon is a sign within themselves. And that one whom takes directly from the sun and the reality of Sayyidina Muhammad and becomes a common perfect reflection of the reality of Sayyidina Muhammad. And what they want from us is to inspire the way of the Fardani. That Shams al-Arifin is a book in which is the teaching and the understanding of the 12th month is from the ulum of the Fardani, from this Maqam al-Fardani that is the highest reality of sainthood that takes its reflection from the reality of the sun. And the 12 months, each month is a dress in hijab, a parda, in which the moon is traversing the reality of the sun. And the moon teaches us to be nothing, to not have ego, to take all the bombarding and the testing. Look at the surface of the moon. It's not like the earth in which every type of desire has grown upon it. The moon shows itself to be barren, that it has taken so much pounding that nothing is growing on it. It means it has no desire, no dunya desire. And it's in a continuous ocean of difficulty, and it keeps its course on the reflection of the sun and the nur and the reality of the sun. The sun is a source of light, and the moon by its purity and its path is a reflection of the light. So qamarun nurun wa shamsun diyahun. Shams is a diya, is a source of light, burning fire, and that nobody can attain, and that is the reality of Sayyidina Muhammad. And that's why we say Shams al-Arifin. It's the rising sun of knowledges and realities of the ones whom are seeking Allah's Divinely grace, Divinely lights. And that's by Allah showing that, I show you on the horizon the greater, because like in a lab it's easier to see the horizon and then teach about the reality of the horizon. Before you can teach about somebody's inside, you can't open them up and say, here's your heart, here's your moon, here's your this, here's your light. So that's why they give the analogy of the outside. You see how Allah created creation in perfection, and the light is supreme, the light is eternal, and that you should make the whole course of your life is to traverse the light. And that's why in the sama and everything, the Ahl Haqaiq and Ahl Tasawwuf, they taught all the same reality in a different way of understanding it. The teaching of the sama was the same understanding, is that your whole life has to traverse the heart, and the heart is symbolic of the sun. If the student becomes lit through their practices and following, their heart will become lit with an eternal light, and Allah will begin the process of the shams. Their heart became the ocean of iman, became the ocean of the love of Sayyidina Muhammad. As a result, Prophet's sun and eternal light is now glowing within their heart, that is maqam al-iman. When that servant, their heart is lit, Allah doesn't ever extinguish it. It means they have reached their eternal lights, and that importance of that then is the nourishing of that light. Until that stage, light and faith is very fragile. It's like a candle in the wind. You know how you have to guard your faith, you don't take yourself everywhere, you don't do every type of crazy thing. Your faith will be blown away, will be extinguished. So whom Allah guides, when you have a spouse and you have somebody, a child or somebody who's attracted to these teachings, these are very rare. These are whom Allah is sending to leave the temporary candle but to achieve this maqam of iman. And that's not everybody, and that's not 90% of the people in the mosque. They say they have iman because they did Ramadan. That's nothing. This is a station through many trials and tribulations, that they are taking a path and they have been inspired to take a path in which Allah wants to light their hearts. And when that heart becomes lit with the ishq and the love of Sayyidina Muhammad, this is Maqamul Iman. And the one whom has Iman, his heart like a fire, like a sun is burning, and the more his Iman, the more his love, the more he's approaching Prophet with every type of difficulty, his faith is growing stronger and stronger and stronger until his heart is like a full-blown sun. And they are walking more powerful suns on this earth than the sun in the sky, because the sun in the sky is merely a reflection of that reality. Because وَلَقَدْ كَرَمْنَا Bani Adam is that Allah says, I have honoured Bani Adam, not I honoured the heavens. I honoured Bani Adam, whatever is in the heaven as an ornament is merely a sign. But what Allah gives to this creation of Adam and Eve, if they should achieve that reality, He gives them an eternal light, He gives them the eternal love of Sayyidina Muhammad. Then you understand through faith, if Allah lit your heart with faith, lit it with the love of Sayyidina Muhammad, no doubt you begin to hear with Allah's hearing, you begin to see with Allah's seeing, you touch with Allah's touch, you walk with Allah's walk, means your step will be blessed. Anything you touch turns to gold, is blessed. Whatever you make du'a, Allah already accepted it because Allah inspired the du'a to come through the heart of that servant. So then these are suns, they are carrying that light. And then Allah makes them to look to the moon to be nothing, then turns their head to be like a moon, in which they don't analyze with their head these divine realities. They don't try to place a logic onto this understanding. As a result, they've shut their head and they've magnified the power of their heart, and as a result their face is shining lights of the moon, because their face is merely a reflection of the light that exists within their heart. Everybody else you see their face are dark because it's filled with the waswas and thinking and analyzing and every type of false light that they're trying to put into their head to be illuminated. And that's not the purpose of the head. The head was not to think, the head was just to shut off and only think for dunya. The head was to be only a passenger on this journey into the heavens, not to be the captain. The heart is the captain. When the heart is guiding the servant into the Divine, the head will begin to reflect all of its lights. And that's why then these professors and these Einsteins, when they get old, they become senile and Allah shuts off their head and they become feeble in age like they're a 2-year-old baby, because they use the head too much and they try to illuminate their path by their head, their books and their knowledges. And they had never illuminated the heart, which was the real source of power, not the temporary reading and talking. So when their heart has no energy, then they become transgressed and they go back into a feeble state. Pray Allah protect us and bless us and illuminate our hearts, and that our heart be sufficient to carry our entire wujud and our being, so that always that illumination comes out. That's why these awliya, when they become older, they even become more powerful, because their heart, if they're keeping pure and keeping clean, their heart is getting closer and closer to the Divine, and their ilum is coming out stronger and stronger, inshaAllah. So the Maqamul Fardani is all these paths teaching. That's why they have the rising sun of the west. This is all the knowledges of that reality, that what is this sun, what is this path of the moon, what is the reality of the sun. Then when they have the book on Yasin, this is from the heart of Prophet, and that everything of Qur'an, its heart is the heart called Yasin. So it becomes the manzil of Qur'an and the treasure chest of all these realities that are coming out from that reality. And then the kitab on the heart is the house of Allah, and all whom exist within the house of Allah. So all of these courses that have been set by these awliyaullah is from that understanding, from the highest levels of sainthood, not the beginning levels of sainthood. And that knowledge to save us and dress us and prepare us for the presence of Sayyidina Mahdi, and that's why we should all be qamarun.